Okay, so Beyoncé, I mean, just saying her name brings up like a million different things, you know. She's obviously a huge style icon. Her music resonates with millions. She's like a complete powerhouse in the industry, you know what I mean? And you guys, our listeners, you're the kind of people who want to look deeper. You're curious about the people and the forces that shape our culture.
Exactly. And today we're going to kind of go off the beaten path a little bit, maybe explore some unexpected parts of Beyoncé's journey. We've done a really deep dive into all these sources to try to get a little richer understanding, you know.
For sure, for sure. And we found some pretty interesting stuff, right? I mean, we're talking about finances, her power couple status with Jay-Z, early relationships, the strategies behind her creativity, personal struggles too, even some like wild celebrity conspiracy theories, and then of course her acting career, her philanthropy. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So let's jump in, shall we? Let's start with money. I mean, everyone knows Beyoncé and Jay-Z are music royalty, but they're also like a straight up financial powerhouse, right?
No doubt about it. Yeah. Their combined wealth is a huge part of their influence.
Yeah.
Back in 2018, Forbes estimated Beyoncé was worth like $400 million on her own.
Wow.
Which is a ton of money, obviously. But then you add in Jay-Z, who was estimated at $900 million, and, well, kind of just shows how much they've achieved, both individually and together. But you know what's interesting to me?
What's that?
Their money isn't just an accident. It's not just a side effect of their music. They're really strategic about it, really sophisticated in how they manage their finances.
That's super interesting. And it makes sense when you think about it, right? Like, it's not just about getting rich. It's about protecting what you build.
Exactly.
And I think that's why, like, even before they got married back in 2008, they made a prenup, which is pretty standard when you're dealing with that kind of money. But here's the crazy part.
Okay, I'm listening.
Years later, when there were all those rumors about, you know, trouble in paradise, they actually updated it. They did a postnup.
Wow, so they basically renegotiated. That's pretty forward thinking.
I know, right? And the postnup reportedly laid out exactly how they'd split their fortune, which was something like $1.4 billion at that point.
That's just wild.
But it gets even more interesting. The agreement also addressed, well, probably the most important thing, custody of their kids. They made sure it was full joint custody.
That shows how serious they are about protecting their family.
Yeah.
Like, even amidst all the fame and money and gossip, they're prioritizing their kids' well-being.
100%. Okay, so let's shift gears completely here from billions of dollars to something a little more, I don't know, down to earth. Early romance.
Yeah, I like it. A little gossip.
Maybe. So you know how some celebs, they've got this laundry list of exes, right?
Oh, for sure.
Well, Beyoncé is not like that at all. In fact, she's actually said that she's only ever had 2 serious relationships in her whole life.
Really? Just 2? That's surprising.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's been in the spotlight for as long as she has. You'd think there'd be more, you know?
Makes you wonder what those relationships were like, you know, if she was really picky or if she just fell hard those 2 times.
Definitely makes you think. And actually, her first love was, well, it's kind of sweet. They met at church back in 1993.
Church? That's not what I was expecting.
I know, right? Apparently, Kelly Rowland introduced them. His name is Lyndall Locke, and they were together for like 5 years, from when they were 12 to 17, shared their first kiss and everything.
Oh, that's actually really cute. It's nice to imagine her, you know, this global icon going through the same awkward first love experiences we all have.
Totally. And Lyndall has actually talked about their relationship a little bit, you know, what it was like to be Beyoncé's boyfriend. He said that when Destiny's Child started getting really famous, he felt like he just wasn't good enough for her anymore.
Oof. I bet that was tough. Like, imagine your girlfriend becoming super famous while you're still, you know, just a regular guy.
Totally. And then he also admitted to cheating on her after they broke up, like 5 times, he said. Which, I don't know, it's kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a glimpse into the pressures of fame, you know. Not just on the person who's famous, but on the people around them, too.
All right, so moving on from romance, let's talk about a moment that really shook up the music industry.
Ooh, which one?
Yeah.
She's had a few.
Remember back in December 2013 when she just, like, out of nowhere dropped a whole album on iTunes?
Oh, yeah. That was a huge deal. Like a full album, 14 tracks, 17 music videos, no warning, just boom, it's there.
Yeah.
How did she even keep that a secret?
Right. It was crazy. In this day and age, with all the leaks and rumors and social media, she managed to keep it completely under wraps. It was like a masterclass in secrecy.
Seriously.
And she explained why she did it, which is kind of interesting. She said she missed the experience of listening to a whole album, like back in the day with Michael Jackson's Thriller or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like you sat down and you listened to the whole thing. It was an event.
Exactly. And she felt like people nowadays just, download a song here, a song there. They don't get that same immersive experience.
I kind of get it. Like with streaming and everything, it's easy to just skip around. But there's something special about listening to an album the way it was intended.
Totally. And the whole thing was super top secret, like a spy movie or something. The final track list wasn't decided till October. They finished recording around Thanksgiving. And the release date, get this, was decided just a week before it dropped.
Wow. So they were cutting it close.
Oh, yeah. They even used a code name, Lily, when they talked to the record label. Apparently only a tiny handful of people at iTunes knew about it.
That is some next level secrecy. It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
Totally. Okay, so let's talk about something that's become a huge part of Beyoncé's image, Sasha Fierce, her alter ego. Where did this whole idea come from?
The story behind Sasha Fierce is kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
It all goes back to a talent show, believe it or not, when she was just in first grade.
Yeah,
and apparently she was terrified to perform. But she said that as soon as the music started, something changed. Something just clicked.
She talked about it in Rolling Stone. She said, I remember walking out and I was scared, but when the music started, I don't know what happened. I just changed.
I kind of get that. Like sometimes when you're performing, you tap into something different, a different side of yourself.
Totally. And she's made it very clear that Sasha Fierce is separate from her everyday personality.
That's like a performance persona, right?
Exactly. And it officially became Sasha Fierce back in 2008 when she released that double album, I Am Sasha Fierce.
That's when it really solidified, like it gave a name to this powerful stage presence she has.
It really did. But even with all that fierceness, even with Sasha Fierce, she's still human, right? She's gone through some real struggles.
Of course, yeah. It's easy to forget that even celebrities have their own problems, their own pain.
For sure. And around the year 2000, right when Destiny's Child was at their peak, after The Writing is on the Wall, she went through a really dark period. She's talked about feeling lonely and sad. She even stopped eating for a while.
Oh, wow. That sounds serious. What was going on at the time?
Well, it was a super stressful time for the group.
Yeah.
2 members had left and were suing her dad, Matthew Knowles, who was managing them at the time. They accused him of mismanagement, and it was all over the news.
So there was all this drama and negativity surrounding her, even while the group was super successful.
Exactly. She told Parade magazine that she felt attacked, like everyone was coming at her.
It's a lot to deal with at any age, but especially when you're young and in the public eye like that.
Totally. And she credits her mom, Tina, with helping her get through it. She said her mom gave her the strength and encouragement to keep going, to choose music over the drama.
That's awesome, to have that kind of support system.
Definitely. All right, so are you ready to go down the rabbit hole a little bit?
Oh, boy. What have you got for me?
We're talking conspiracy theories. The kind that surrounds celebrities, and Beyoncé's no exception.
Ooh, juicy. But before we go any further, we got to be clear here. We're just reporting on what's out there, what we found in the sources. We're not saying any of this is true, okay?
Absolutely. This is just for fun, a little glimpse into the weird world of celebrity gossip.
Got it. So spill the tea.
All right, so one of the big ones, and this was even reported by Stellar magazine, is that Solange, her sister, is actually her daughter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the theory is that Beyoncé had Solange when she was super young, like 12 or 13, and to avoid a scandal, they raised Solange as her sister.
That's a pretty wild theory.
Oh, yeah, and it goes even further. Some people claim that this means Beyoncé is actually older than she says she is, that she was born in the 70s, not 1981.
Wow, okay, so no real evidence, just speculation.
Exactly. And then there's another one, this one was covered by ABC News, that claims Beyoncé wasn't really pregnant with Blue Ivy.
Seriously?
Yeah, people say she used a prosthetic baby bump and a surrogate because of, health problems or fertility issues.
And the evidence for this is?
Well, there's this video clip where she's sitting down and her bump kind of folds weird, and people went crazy over it. Oh, and some even suggest that Solange was the egg donor.
Okay, so that one's getting pretty out there. It's amazing what people will come up with.
It really is. But, it just shows how much fascination there is with celebrities, especially someone like Beyoncé. People are always looking for something hidden, something scandalous.
For sure. Okay, enough of the conspiracy theories. Let's talk about something a little more grounded, Beyoncé's acting career.
Good idea. So she's obviously a music icon, but she's also made a real mark on Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she started out with Carmen, a hip opera back in 2001, which was a TV movie. But then she quickly moved on to bigger things, like Who could forget her in Austin Powers and Goldmember?
Right. She even joked about having to kiss Austin Powers.
Classic.
And then there was the Pink Panther and, of course, Dreamgirls, where she really shined alongside Jennifer Hudson.
Dreamgirls was a big moment for her. Showed everyone she could really act, not just sing and dance.
Totally. And more recently, she voiced Nala in the 2019 remake of The Lion King.
Which was a massive hit, by the way.
Huge. And it's interesting, there were a couple of other big movies she almost starred in. Bill Condon, who directed Dreamgirls, actually wanted her for the live-action Beauty and the Beast, but the role, it was the feather duster, Lumiere's girlfriend, and it wasn't considered big enough for her.
Could you imagine Beyoncé as a feather duster?
It's hard to picture, right? And then there was the A Star is Born remake.
Oh, wow. With Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Yep, that one. Apparently she was attached to star in it for a long time, but then she got pregnant and the director, Clint Eastwood, moved on to another project.
It's always interesting to think about those what-ifs, how things could have been different.
Totally. But speaking of great acting, we can't forget about her role as Etta James in Cadillac Records.
Oh, yeah, that was a fantastic performance. She got a Golden Globe nomination for that one.
Rightly so. And she really went all out to prepare for the role. Etta James struggled with heroin addiction, and to understand that, Beyoncé actually visited Phoenix House, which is a rehab facility in Brooklyn.
Wow, she really immersed herself in the character. That's dedication.
It really is. And that visit seems to have stuck with her because it actually led to some pretty amazing philanthropy.
Tell me more about that.
So Beyoncé has always been close to the world of salons thanks to her mom, Tina, who's a hairstylist.
Right.
And she's talked about how salons are more than just places to get your hair done. They're like community spaces, especially for women.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like a social hub, a place to connect and share stories.
Exactly. She said that she saw salons as places for women to socialize, share stories, cry, laugh, and get advice. And she saw how much joy it brought her mom to be a part of that, to help women transform not just their hair, but themselves.
That's beautiful.
And so in 2010, she and her mom started the Beyoncé Cosmetology Center at Phoenix House, the same rehab center she visited to prepare for the Etta James role.
Wow, that's full circle.
Right. The center offers a 7-month cosmetology course to women at Phoenix House, giving them the skills they need to build a career.
That's amazing. It's not just about giving money, it's about giving people opportunities, helping them get back on their feet.
100%. And Beyoncé has continued to support the center, donating $100,000 every year.
That's a real commitment. Okay, so I gotta ask, with all her success in music, movies, even philanthropy, do you think she'll ever achieve EGOT status?
EGOT.
Yeah, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. She's already got 24 Grammys and 8 Emmy nominations for her specials and that epic Super Bowl halftime show.
An Emmy win seems pretty likely at some point.
I think so, too. And who knows, maybe she'll do some Broadway and get a Tony.
No, that would be something.
Right. But the Oscar has eluded her so far, which is surprising considering how much she's done in film.
Yeah, she was amazing in Dreamgirls, and she co-wrote Listen for the movie,
right,
which was nominated for Best Original Song.
But she didn't get an individual nomination for the song. Back then, the Academy had a rule limiting nominations to 3 people per song, and they decided that even though her contribution was significant, it didn't meet the specific criteria for a nomination.
That's got to be frustrating.
Oh, yeah. And then more recently, she co-wrote Spirit for the Lion King remake, which made the shortlist for Best Original Song, but didn't get the final nomination.
Sometimes it just comes down to luck,
I guess so. Okay, so before we wrap up, we got to talk about something a little funny, maybe even a little embarrassing for Beyoncé.
Uh-oh, what is it?
It's called the Grant's Tomb incident.
Grant's Tomb? Like the president's tomb?
Yep, that one. Back in 2003, when she was just starting her solo career, NBC had her perform as part of their 4th of July special.
Oh.
And the performance was right next to Grant's tomb in Manhattan.
Oh boy, I can already see where this is going.
So apparently the president of the Grant Monument Association was not happy about it. He filed official complaints, calling the performance patently inappropriate for the location.
What did he say was wrong with it?
Well, he specifically mentioned the lascivious choreography.
Lascivious choreography at a president's tomb? That's a pretty big contrast.
I know, right? It's kind of hilarious. And Beyoncé never actually addressed the controversy publicly, and she hasn't performed at any presidential memorials since then.
Maybe she learned her lesson.
Maybe so. It just goes to show that even Queen Bey can make a misstep every now and then.
That's true. Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the world of Beyoncé. We've covered so much, from her finances and relationships to her career highlights and those crazy conspiracy theories.
And we hope you guys, our listeners, have gained a new appreciation for just how complex and multifaceted she is. She's more than just a pop star. She's a businesswoman, a philanthropist, a wife, a mother, and she's gone through her share of struggles along the way.
And as we wrap up, we want to leave you with a thought. Beyoncé has always been one step ahead, pushing boundaries, changing the game. So what do you think she'll do next? Where will she make her next big impact? Film, philanthropy, something completely different?
That's a great question to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, there's always more to discover.
Absolutely.
See you guys.